You don't understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Don't call me paranoid. I keep the demons from your soul.
So, hey, everybody. How about hello? Welcome to the podcast, episode 11, Rough Cuts. We got Rich's hands over here. He's very confused. We got Curtis. We got Jeff. We got Eric. The whole crew's here. What do you know?
Hey,
Would you look at that? Oh yeah. Click on whatever Jeff is pointing to. It's probably a subscribe button or a like button or a comment button. Do all of those things. That's what we need. We need some feedback from you guys to steer this podcast in the direction that you want it to go. Yeah, we've been chugging right along. This is week 11. I didn't think we'd get past 3, so I'm pretty impressed with our resolve. They say if a podcast makes it past episode 7, there's a high likelihood that they'll continue doing it. So we hit that magic number.
I didn't know that there was any chance of getting out of it. I just
not now, no, because
now
there's so many people that depend on us.
If I would have known, I might not have kept going.
Our fans count on us. If we're not there, I start getting all sorts of threatening messages and
from your mom and your dad.
Mom and
probably to break up the confusion though, you and Rich should probably switch places because it says Eric Weinbrenner where he's sitting. So
it doesn't say that on the final. Oh, I get what you're saying. You're saying that there's a chance people could confuse Rich Thompson and I.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Based on the label of my name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
We do look an awful lot alike.
Yeah.
I do get that a lot. Well, you told that story about someone thinking you were the singer, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of doppelgangers, Curtis, last night we turned it on to the wrestling, the WWE.
yeah.
And you bear a striking resemblance to one of the wrestlers. Did you know that?
Would that be John Cena?
No. He don't wrestle anymore. He's a movie star.
Oh, okay. Well, I get the John Cena thing a little bit.
Well, that was back when you had muscles. No, it's it's Randy Orton is the guy's name, and he was standing in the middle of the ring making some faces, and me and my wife at the same time said, "Oh my God, he looks just like Curtis." So,
poor guy.
yeah, he's been wrestling for many years, and a lot of people hate him. So you guys share that also.
Yes.
I can see the Randy Orton thing. Maybe you should do a search for that and pull it up on the screen share.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's kind of Curtis.
Don't give the one with all the muscles hanging out. Yeah,
no, we don't want him to see the muscles. These are younger ones. That's kind of courtesy, don't you think?
Yeah, that's pretty courtesy.
All right, let me see about screen sharing. Oh, it's on.
You're welcome.
All right, there you go, Curtis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of you right there. Look at his face here.
Yeah, look at his face. Yeah.
Here and here.
It's uncanny.
How many tattoos do you have, Curtis?
I have 0 tattoos.
Well, we're gonna have to work on that.
I know.
Because Randy Orton has several, it looks like.
Well, I've got some work to do then, yes.
Go ahead and tell us, why don't you have tattoos?
My dad basically said if I ever got one, he'd tear it off.
Not cut it off. Tear it off.
Yeah.
Tear it off. Yeah.
For those that didn't know my dad, he was a Vietnam era Marine and a state powerlifting champion. And so if he told you he was going to tear something off, you believed it. Didn't run a risk it. So yeah, never did.
That's fair. I understand.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos, Rich?
I do not.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm not the only one, am I?
Yeah, I was gonna say you and Jeff are probably the biggest.
You got ink, Eric?
In the band.
I've got 3 of them.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. I got an 8th note on this bicep, or actually it'd be what, my
tricep.
Brachialis. And I got a treble clef over here, which doesn't make sense because I was a tuba player.
Okay.
But it is
It is your left arm.
It is a tribal design. And then
Okay.
I've got a tattoo on my wrist for after my sister passed away.
Yeah.
For her. So that's my ink.
Gotcha.
What about your tramp stamp?
I don't have a tramp stamp. I drew that on with a marker.
Oh,
That was Sharpie.
I was wondering about that.
Well, I know what you like.
Well, Marvin the Martian really gets it going for me.
Marvin the Martian tramp
Come
stamp.
come out of that hole, Wabbit.
Okay, it's gonna be one of those nights. Oh goodness. All right. So I guess we might as well talk about stuff that people want to hear about.
If they're still listening.
If they're still listening at this point, yeah. They're all in for this one.
Mhm.
What did we do anything this week? No, we didn't have any gigs this week, did we? Did
Here's
we?
Hey.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Notice that says the Reface app on it. Nice. I knew I shouldn't have gave you an excuse to pull that out.
Yeah, well, you know, I can pull the ones out I did of you guys as well.
No, we
I'm
don't
okay
need to
with
do
that.
that.
Yeah, I got one of Eric that we should probably share at some point.
I don't think we should.
Do you remember?
I
those
made an
classics?
NFT out of that. I own that now. You can't share it.
I don't get this NFT stuff.
No, I don't. I hear airdrop going on over here, Curtis. I know you're up to something.
Well, I wanted to share with our listeners, because I know they want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I know they want to know. So
I don't think they want to know.
they do want
Just
to
remember, I hold the power of the edit. So if I don't like it, it's gone.
know. Okay, here's this one.
Nice.
How are those showing
That's
up? Are they
perfect.
showing up big or are they showing up little?
They're big. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can't tell.
for a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell from my side, but
It's
that,
pretty big, Curtis.
that was a classic. That was a good one. This
Mhm.
This one I've always appreciated. This one. This is a classic.
An actual photo of me.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
That's
excellent.
right.
It does. Well, the belly's a little big, but other than that, it looks like you.
I figured it'd be something off chips, with
That was
paunch.
the old
Mozzarella.
paunch. Yeah, the old paunch.
Rich
This
would pull
one,
that off well.
this is actually, you would think this was doctored, but it's not. I actually took this one of Eric after a show. It's pretty impressive. And you ladies are going to appreciate this one.
Mhm. Maybe some of you fellas too.
Yeah, baby.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is accurate. That's.
You remember those days?
I have a little
Always in
more
the
hair
hot
on
tub.
my
You're
chest.
always in the hot tub.
Hey
Like
man,
all the time.
that's where the party starts.
Like I'm out like shopping, like
Having a good
having-
time.
no, not having near the good time you are.
Well, Jeff was in the hot tub too, but you couldn't tell
Like,
because
'cause you
the
could
water was too
definitely-
deep.
I was swimming.
Yeah. Hey, let's go ahead and totally ruin the vibe. So ISR, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone listening and not paying attention, so Indie Star Radio, that's a LA radio station that really kind of embraced us early. They've been playing the heck out of our stuff. We've been on their countdown a bunch of times. I think every song we've released has been on their top 21. We held #1 for 4 weeks with The Trees Are Listening. And then during COVID, they did a live simulcast. They had us, we basically performed live. We did a whole set. And they blast that out on worldwide. That went out worldwide through their app, radio, whatever that is. And and then we did, like, when we get ready to release the EP, they did a listening party where they advanced released all the songs and played them, and we talked about them. It was a pretty cool deal, about an hour and a half show. Anyway, they've just really been good to us, and we've had a good relationship with all those people. And Alan, the main dude with that, and Ash, and Nikki, and Justin. But anyway, Yeah, tonight's actually their last show. It's actually, I think they're probably on right now.
Yeah, it starts at what, 7?
Yeah, tonight's their
Our
last show.
time. Yeah.
And so anyway,
Yeah, it's a big bummer.
Yeah, it's too bad. I like those people. That's
Mhm.
that's a really cool community that Curtis, you kind of got us involved with, and they've done a lot of good things for us. I mean, they've really promoted the hell out of us.
Yeah.
So we hate to see that. Hopefully, when this is an indefinite, stoppage, hopefully, at some point it'll come back. We'll just have to be patient and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be important that we maintain contact. I don't know if you guys saw, I went ahead and made I made a pic for them, and it's their profile pics and everything else now on their website and everything else. So we did that for them. So
Yeah. Yep. Good people for sure. Alan's an awesome dude.
yeah.
Hopefully, hopefully it'll come back.
He's an old drummer from the 80s. I mean, he was a LA strip guy playing out on the strip during the 80s. So kind of cool.
Yeah, I bet he's got some awesome stories.
Anyway, yeah. ISR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ISR. There we go. Clink. Hey, don't spill that on my computer. So last week I reached out to everybody, our big fan base on Facebook, and said, "Hey, if you got any questions you'd like answered at the podcast, let's hear them."
Mm-hmm.
Well, no one really replied to that.
Yeah.
So about an hour before recording this, I went on Facebook on my own personal page and said, "Hey, if you got any questions, let's hear them." And I got a handful of responses. So I think if you guys are cool with it, you want to go ahead and tackle a couple of those tonight?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start with one that's actually substantive.
Substantive.
Say it, Curtis.
Substantiated.
That.
Substantial.
Okay, we're gonna start with one that is good.
Let's start with
That
that.
is quality. So Dean Clinda, he's a Salina native. I believe he's Salina native, but he's in the sound world. He's run sound over at the Bicentennial Center a lot and just around different things. I think at one point he was doing stuff at the Stiefel. He might still be. He's a good dude though.
Yeah.
He asked the question. He says, "If I remember correctly, you guys don't usually bring a front of house guy to mix your shows. What was your decision process on that? Question mark. And pros and cons."
Oh,
I've kind of got a take on that, but if anyone else wants to go first, feel free.
first off, it was cost. I mean, what it would cost in order to do it. But secondly, we were kind of getting away with being able to get a mixed set and just go. I don't know if we can really do that so much anymore, especially, once we start getting into, running our in-ears and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So the pros of it were obviously that we didn't have to pay a sound guy. That the cons of it are we have to set everything up. We have to do the sound check. We have to, tear everything down and ourselves. So, I mean, and obviously, having a sound guy there, it'd be great for putting in tap tempos and stuff like that. Whereas we can't do that now, obviously. But yeah, it's definitely something that we have talked about and are really interested in doing, is bringing in a sound guy. Just got to find that right person, I guess.
And I think we've talked about it as a band. I mean, we're definitely interested in doing that. And we've talked about what we could afford to pay and some of that. So we've had those conversations. It's just a matter of now finding someone that not only has the ability, but has the interest to do it, because literally you'd be adding a fifth member to the band. So we'd be talking about anytime we book a show, calendar availability for a fifth person yet. I mean, just adds a new dimension, but definitely one worth considering, because I think having someone out there that's ears on while we're playing, as you guys know, when we use Jimmy with Lawless Productions out of Wichita, I mean, we just sound better and the crowd's more into it. So there's an advantage. We just we don't have anybody that could do it. So if you're watching and you know something about sound, get with us, hit us up.
Well, and I'll expand on that. If you're watching and you know something about sound and you have a free schedule, that, that's the biggest thing to me is in the past when we've talked to guys, a lot of times it's okay, they might be able to do this show or that show, but to be an actual fifth member is hard to find. And then plus there's also the dynamic of finding someone who has their own sound, system, their own PA and everything. But then you're talking about if they've got, real PA money into it, how much are they going to charge to do it? Can we afford that? Is it worth our time to, go play these gigs and give all of our money to the sound guy?
I think, yeah. And so I guess we haven't really talked about it at that depth. So let's have a band meeting quickly. But I think my thought was we continue to use our gear. We've got a guy that's coming in. He's going to assist us in setting up. He's going to run the stuff. He's going to run the show sound wise. And then we're going to tear it down, load it up, and then get out of there. And so I really wasn't looking for someone that brings their own gear. I was looking for someone to come in and run our gear.
I see.
Yeah, because I think
me too.
paying someone to haul production, you're talking. I mean, you're
Big money. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to have somebody that can even make that tear down quicker at the end of the night. They don't necessarily have to do all the legwork, I guess, on all the tear down and load up and all that, but just to have an extra hand to haul some stuff out or whatever would be kind of nice.
Well, for me, I mean, I think when you get into tear down mode, that's one thing, because we can tear that show down and be on the road in less than an hour. It's the load in and setup that's the pain in the butt. And so I sure would like to be like the singer and just come in and set my stuff up and then go sit at the bar and drink. I would much rather be that guy. But
me too.
As you know, you got Rich setting up all the sound gear. I'm setting up all the lights. Jeff is changing strings on his bass. Eric is jacking around for half an hour with his stuff. I don't know.
You missed an opportunity. You could have said Eric's ordering dinner.
Eric's putting all of his drum gear in cases in front of where I need to set up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, to me, I was going to say the biggest thing about it would be once we get our gear set up to have somebody that can run those faders and sound check us and actually hear us while we're, getting started. That would just be huge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I hate the process.
Here's the magic behind a rock show for everyone that doesn't know. What happens is we mix ourselves one time and we save it, and then we just keep using that setting over and over, regardless of where we're playing. So a real sound guy is going to make adjustments based on the room, based on the acoustics, based on the number of people in the crowd, etc. We can't do that when you're on stage playing. So we basically have to just fly blind and hope it sounds good. And then ask people, if you ever hear a band say, when you hear a band say, hey, how's it sound? No, they're really asking because they don't know.
Yeah, that's when we're looking for, hey, the guitar could be bumped up a little, or maybe the bass is too hot. That's what we're looking for is give us
when we played Jerry's the other night, on stage it sounded kind of tinny and thin and stuff, but when I stepped out front, it sounded really good. Well, then, he was standing back there at the back making adjustments the whole night and kept us sounding really great. And everybody was just blown away and talking about how good we sounded. We play the same thing every night. Literally, a sound guy was the difference maker.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
It really was. So,
yeah, that's probably something we need to look into, finding somebody, but there again, finding somebody who's going to be able to be available.
Well, not only that, but somebody that we can get along with too. That's going
to be hard for you.
Here's the thing is
Diva.
Just the same thing as when we're bringing in, when we brought in Curtis and we brought in Jeff, it's we were looking for somebody that we could get along with and that we could, have a good time with and not.
Unfortunately, we didn't find that.
And then you had to settle and you went for Curtis and you went for Jeff.
Settled. Yeah. And, it's kind of like one of them bad marriages, where you just kind of just get beaten down enough to where, start.
You just deal with it.
Yeah, you just deal with it.
You just know that's what you got.
You almost start thinking like them, and becoming them. So at this point we're pretty, close. So I think
it's a domestic battery situation. You guys are the battered victims, and you just
But Rich, I will say that I'm very proud of you for standing up for yourself and going to that Korn concert by yourself.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten any flack for that at all. That's a surprising thing. Yeah,
I've my oath. I will never ever again ask Rich to do anything socially with me. If he's not getting paid, it's going to be a no. I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you need to lead with the amount he's getting paid before you even talk about what the event is.
Yeah.
All right, Rich, listen, $107.
No, what? No.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we covered that pretty well. Josh Huggy Bear Miller, he wants to know who our biggest influences are. I would say that's probably an individual question.
Oh yeah.
Let's start with Jeff. We never start with Jeff.
Yeah. Get it, Jeff.
Put you on the spot.
Oh, there's so many. Man, I guess when I started first playing, it's a little, not that I like, of course, influences are one thing, being able to play like them is another, but Geddy Lee was one of them. And then I would say moving up I liked Eddie Jackson from Queensryche was another good one. But as far as actual band influence, I guess, one of my favorites. I mean, I'm an '80s guy, kind of like Curtis is. I mean, one of my favorite bands of all time would probably be Testament is one of them, and of course Metallica. Older Metallica I liked a lot. So kind of that '80s thrash era stuff. Metallica, Testament, Anthrax, that kind of stuff.
I'm glad we play a lot of that in Bootleg Mercy so that you get to really embrace that.
Well, I mean, back then, and I like to think, or I hope, you see that in some of my playing, but I kind of like the more melodic bass players and bass players that, play like, I know Rich has mentioned kind of an alternate melody bass line, and
you do a good job of that.
Stone Temple Pilots and stuff like that. So I try to emulate that a little bit, but like I said, I'm no Geddy Lee or that type of guy. But
you're Jeff Mother effing Butler.
Yeah, that's my thing, I guess. Where I started out at. So
is that his middle name?
Mother effing Hefe Mother effing Butler. Rich, who's it's obvious if anybody out there knows Rich or has ever heard him sound check or watched him play his guitar, acoustic, and sing, knows what he's all about. But go ahead and share it with the audience.
Alanis Morissette.
I was gonna say Neil Young, but yeah.
I was gonna say Vince Young.
Yeah.
From Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
We got a similar build.
Yeah. Strong arm.
Yeah. Other than Alanis Morissette, who else? She didn't play acoustic guitar, I don't believe. She probably did, yeah.
Isn't that ironic?
Anyway.
He did there.
All right. I'll be serious.
That was a jagged pill to swallow right there.
You guys are uninvited.
You ought to know.
Yep.
I'll just take my hand out of my pocket and we'll go along with this next one. Sorry. My bad. Now, obviously that 90s grunge era was a big influence, but even before that, I got down with the Bon Jovi and Motley Crue when I was growing up, because they were hard and edgy, when you're a grade schooler.
Bon Jovi was edgy.
Slippery when wet.
He had long hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had a 6-string on his back, man.
Yeah.
He rode a steel horse.
He had holes in his jeans.
I stand corrected. All
right. So now, I kind of, obviously as a kid, those kind of bands always got me going.
Yeah.
Mainly for melodies and stuff like that. But, the grunge era comes along. I wasn't really that big of a Nirvana guy. You know, I never really was. When it came to the grunge stuff, it was always Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and
Soundgarden.
guys. Soundgarden, yeah. But you know, as I got a little bit later on, it turned into more things acoustic wise with Dave Matthews Band. Yeah, Hootie. Now I'm gonna have Hootie in my head. But yeah. Other than that, yeah, I mean that's
So you'd say a bunch of like really feminine music.
Duncan Sheik,
Big Head Todd and the
Alanis
Monsters.
Alanis Morissette. No, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah, all those guys. Yeah, I mean they.
Dishwalla.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Look at Curtis.
and one of
Curtis is
hey,
just beside
Curtis,
himself.
the all-time greatest band ever, Green Day.
Yeah, we can go ahead and we can just cut this right now.
Please edit this. Our
So,
street cred
you're
is
gonna-
gone.
Yeah, by the
What
time this
about
section
yeah? What
by
about
the time
Ra-
this little section's over, they're gonna say, how come they never asked Rich what his influences were?
what about Radiohead and Smashing Pumpkins?
Oh shit! Good grief! Yeah, so all those bands. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Radiohead, big time. Loved Radiohead.
Incubus.
Incubus. Yeah. So now we're like getting older stuff. Chevelle.
That's
came
newer.
along. Well, no,
We
not
started in 2001,
2000, yeah.
2000.
about the same time as some of them others. Three Doors Down, you know, Nickelback.
So just name every band. That's who your influences are.
Nickelback. He said.
Madonna,
I think your biggest influence is the toilet because that's where you write your best songs.
Elvis Costello.
Ooh, Elvis Presley,
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I even got his haircut.
Liberace.
Yes, I think that comes through on a lot of things.
Yeah, mostly your stage moves. So anyway, let's
Eric.
let's switch to Curtis. No, let's go ahead and go to Curtis.
Okay.
Oh,
Going
the
me?
long dramatic sip. Yeah, you're Curtis tonight.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. Well,
Try
so
following that, Curtis.
my musical tastes are pretty diversified. When I first started playing guitar, it was by force from my dad, and I learned to play the old 60s surf music. So the Ventures, the Safaris, Link Ray, that kind of stuff is what I learned to play guitar on. And so I kind of grew up learning the Yardbirds and Paul Revere and the Raiders and that kind of stuff. And then I stumbled into, I liked the sound I heard in a song called Smoke on the Water. And I started experimenting, trying to figure out how to make that noise, because at this point I was doing straight guitar into a clean amplifier and I didn't understand the sound I was hearing on these records. My dad thought it might be bass. And so I ended up switching to bass for a little bit, trying to find that sound, but it was pretty quick once I got a bass and a bass amp that was not the sound I was looking for. So I switched back to guitar, and then ironically, I think it was for Christmas, maybe I got a K-Tel record called Heavy Metal. And this had Dokken, it had Dio, it had Scorpions, and Kiss, and it just, that took me in a completely different direction. And so probably the first song I learned note for note, and this is back in the day when you had to put a cassette in and hit rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play, as you tried to figure out all the stuff, was a song from Def Leppard off of the On Through the Night album. And I learned that note for note. And once I figured that out, it was like that kind of opened some doors for me. And so I've always said I kind of have like a big five of guitar players that I kind of like Jeff said, I don't claim to play like them, but they're the guys that I kind of put on a pedestal. Like, that is what a guitar player looks like, and that would be, obviously, Eddie Van Halen. I still remember the first time I put the needle down on Running with the Devil, and I just sat there staring at the record. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But Eddie Van Halen, George Lynch of Dokken, Warren DeMartini of Rat, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then Jake E. Lee. Jake E. Lee, when he got into Ozzy and did, the Bark at the Moon album and the Ultimate Sin album. And that just that set my parameters. And so honestly, when the 80s kind of ended and those guys quit recording, I literally stopped following music. And so I kind of got trapped in that style of music, and that's all I practiced, and that's what I worked on, and all of that. And so actually, honestly, the entire grunge era, the Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, I totally missed all of that. I mean, I may have heard it on the radio, but I was not buying albums at that point. I was totally locked into those guys, and I was trying to learn how to play all of that, the old Ozzy stuff and the Dokken stuff and the Rat stuff, and I just focused on that. And then, probably around 2000, I was playing in an oldies band doing 50s and 60s Motown style music, and just having a good time with that. And then, yeah, I mean, just things progressed. And then I started to get back into like the 80s classic metal and stuff. And I got into a band doing that stuff. And I think that's how Eric saw me, was on a video of me playing with that band. And he reached out to me about this band. And the interesting thing about this band is I never really gave the 90s style of music any value. I didn't see that as being credible. Because a lot of it was just, drop tuned, one finger chords, very simplistic music, at least in my head. And then when we started getting together and started working on stuff, and they gave me kind of when I was going to try out for the band or whatever, they gave me a list of 4 or 5 songs to work on. I kind of found there's some complex stuff in there. I remember specifically, there was, the Candlebox tune we do, and
Far Behind, yeah.
yeah, and then Stone Temple Pilots. That Stone Temple Pilots, the guitar work in that is nothing to sneeze at. There's all kinds of chord structures and stuff in there. It's pretty cool. And so anyway, so I'm kind of a late comer to the 90s era stuff, as I've learned that. And now I catch myself, I go back, I listen to, on my Spotify, I listen to a lot of Alice in Chains radio. I really like Alice in Chains. I like Stone Temple Pilots. And then kind of getting into the 2000s, I love Korn. I like, and so I kind of started to come back through and get caught back up to modern music now. But so in the grand scheme of things, I think if I had to nail it down and say, these are my influences, and although I haven't mentioned him yet, I would say, Ronnie James Dio and the different incarnations of Dio, whether that was at Sabbath or Rainbow or his solo stuff. I mean, Dio kind of in terms of the total package, that if I could play in a band like that, that's it for me, kind of a deal. Love that. And then the instrumental guys, the Jake E. Lees of the world, George Lynch, still listen to him, still listen to Jake. Jake's got a band, Red Dragon Cartel, which is amazing, that I listen to a lot now. So anyway, those are my influences. You probably don't hear much of that in when you come to a live show from us, but if you listen to our original stuff, I'm hoping maybe somewhere along the lines that stuff kind of sneaks in there a little bit, just with some of some of the orchestration and stuff that I try to put into my chords and stuff is definitely borrowed. So anyway, that's me. Eric,
I like it.
how about you, buddy?
Well, so Curtis, what did like artists like Cyndi Lauper and Sinead O'Connor do for you?
It's funny you say that. So there are I've got the big 4. I've got 4 major playlists on my Spotify that I play a lot, right? One of them's an oldies. It's got everything from, I mean, it's the Ventures, it's Elvis, it's all the oldie stuff. I've got that one. I've got an 80s one that's got all of the Cyndi Lauper, the Luft Balloons and the Tears for Fears and all that stuff. You got to remember,
I
I
do
was in
like
high
Tears for
school.
Fears.
That's my stuff, right? And then I've got a swing one, just nothing but like Cherry Poppin' Daddies and Royal Crown.
Hey, no. We let that die in the 90s. You can.
I love that. That's
Zoot Riot.
Do you have your Zoot suit still? Did you ever get one?
No, I don't have the Zoot suit, but man, I learned to play that song for that oldies band. I'm telling you, that's a workout.
It's a tricky one. Oh, I'm sure. Everyone was wearing the Zoot suits to prom my junior year of high school.
So my what's that guilty pleasure? My guilty pleasure is yacht rock. if you're familiar with the yacht
Mm.
rock, it's that 70s FM radios like Steely
Yeah.
Dan.
Steely Dan and
Oh yeah.
oh, what's that? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that gets some major play in my house, man. I have that going all the time. I love that. So anyway.
Well, it you can listen to it casually. You don't have to concentrate on it when you're
Right.
listening to it.
Yeah,
It can just be on.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sure. So Curtis says Cyndi Lauper is great, and all of a sudden it's great. But
No,
I
that
say
was the yacht rock.
but I say Alanis Morissette, and everybody's like,
Hey, I had her first album and I wore it out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's an influence, but I do enjoy her music.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to pass an opportunity to make fun of you.
Have you ever read her book?
uh-uh.
Okay, so Cyndi Lauper wrote.
No, I haven't.
She wrote a book about her. And now I haven't read her book either, but I did hear an interview with her where she was talking about her book. And in her book, she talks about apparently she took the Guy Road on touring, and she claims to have had over 1,000 partners.
Woo!
During her time on the road. She was
Yikes.
getting it.
Well, good for her.
Snake handler.
Snake.
What was that? A power fist or what? So my big musical influences, I would say, as far as drumming goes, the biggest one, the granddaddy of them all, and I'm going to name names and see if you guys get them. You'll know one of them. So the biggest influence on my drumming of all time would be Jimmy Chamberlain. Anybody?
Oh, has he got a beard or something?
Smashing Pumpkins. You go back now, Curtis. Look at Curtis's face. Now that you make that face, Curtis, go back and listen to the Siamese Dream album, listen to the Melancholy album, and just listen to the drumming, and you will be shocked. That guy was so technical. He was a trained jazz drummer. His dad was a professional jazz drummer, and that's how he came up. And he kind of fell into the rock world. But just the way he, I guess what I would say the biggest thing I take from him is his fill-ins, the way he hits cymbals in weird spots and stuff like that. When I go back and listen to stuff I recorded, I hear a lot of it. Stuff I've stolen directly from him. Another big influence is Matt Cameron. Anybody? Matt Cameron?
Yeah, beard.
No, he didn't have a beard. That's Soundgarden. And then later Pearl Jam and Temple of the Dog and all that. Now he's in some other group. He was in that new group.
Temple of the Dog wasn't an album. That was a band.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Temple of the Dog was an album.
Yeah, that was a super group.
Soundgarden and Pearl Jam coming together.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
So
hungry.
with Lane Staley as the lead vocalist on a lot of it too.
yeah, some of it.
Yeah.
No, that was Mad Season.
Mad
You're
Season,
thinking
never
of
mind. Mad Season. My bad.
Get your 90s super groups straight, Rich. Anyway, he's a huge
Second.
influence on me because he was a guy that was very much outside of the box. He didn't just play what you expected to hear, and he always had a very unique sound. And then who was another one I was going to name? Oh, and then of course, as far as all my metal years go, I was really big into Vinnie Paul. He was a huge influence.
Well, I would have said Morgan Rose because I actually hear some of his playing and what you do.
Well, now listen, I did have a Seven Dust phase,
Yeah.
but when back in the day when I was playing in metal bands and stuff, it was a lot of Vinnie style fills and double bass stuff. Well, I tried to do the double bass stuff. But yeah, that was real big. And then in the later years, my guilty pleasure, like because Curtis spilled the beans on his. So Sarah McLachlan, she was married to her drummer, and I'll tell you what, there's yes, that's a fantastic song. But there's a couple live albums that she put out, and the drumming on that was just fantastic. And yeah, I used to listen to that quite a bit. So make fun of me now, everybody. Thanks. But then also, here in the 2000s.
Do you get teary-eyed when you see those ASPCA commercials then?
No, I hate that song. I always skip that song.
There's
But
some mad drumming on that thing, man.
no. But then, yeah, in the 2000s, I
On the
joined
poor dogs.
yeah, drumming on the dogs. You guys are terrible. But no, in the 2000s, I joined a blues band, and there's the dogs. Yeah, I'm going to beat your dogs, Jeff.
Sorry.
Anyway, I
Not
joined a blues
bothering.
band, and I had no real blues background at all. And old Jimmy Lewin, he gave me some CDs to listen to. He gave me Albert King and Howlin' Wolf, and he gave me some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Well, Chris Layton, the drummer for Stevie Ray Vaughan, I listened to the way he played, and I was like, wow, this is. When I thought of blues, I thought of, old guys on the porch playing on a washboard. But Chris Layton, I mean, he was a rock drummer playing for the greatest, one of the greatest guitar players of all time. So I picked up a lot from him that I mean, I even use that when we play some rock stuff too. I use some of the things that he did. He was very innovative for, what he did, I think. But yeah, I would say those are probably my biggest drumming influences.
Did any of them have beards?
You didn't do beards in the 90s.
How did they influence you then?
With their drumming. I didn't have a beard in the 90s either.
Oh, we're talking about music influences.
Yes, not facial hair influences.
Like Frank Beard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
His name is Frank Beard, and
He's
he's
the only
like,
guy in the band without a beard.
Well, now that Rich realizes we're talking about music, he's got to go back and recant his Alanis Morissette and Cyndi Lauper references.
No,
they're still there.
because he has the facial hair of a woman from the 90s. So
It's so wispy.
it is. It's very smooth.
As my wife would call it, puby.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't even scrub dishes with this. You wouldn't get anything clean. It's soft.
Yeah, but you would not want to see me clean shaven. It's so
adorable.
It's not a pretty sight. I literally look like a teenager if I shave. So
Yeah, that's your appeal. Hey Jeff, what are you drinking, man?
I'm having some Crown Apple with a little bit of this Fireball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Are you sponsored by Fireball? Endorsed?
Not yet, but if you're out there and watching this, I do have a pit bull, and I'm wearing a Fireball shirt, and I have a bald head like that artist's guy too. So maybe you ought to think about that.
There you go.
There is a pretty good chance Fireball is not watching this podcast.
Hey, that could be one of the 29 people.
Yeah. Pretty good chance.
watches like the CEO of the
Yeah.
Fireball is like, my golly, this boy's got it. I don't know what it is, but they got it.
That's guilty pleasure.
Yeah, but that's not one you admit to. That's not one.
No.
No, I do
What about
gotta
you, Curtis?
say, Fireball's some good stuff, so I'll give it that.
Curtis, what did you just put to your lips?
I just polished off my
I knew it.
single barrel select.
All right, what's next?
Looks like it's cinnamon moonshine.
But that's almost out. You're gonna have to go to the store.
Then I'm
No, I
gonna
hear
have
they
to
have
break
peanut
down
butter
and hit
whiskey.
The vanilla moonshine.
But you got to mix that with whiskey. Are you gonna get another whiskey or not?
I'm gonna have to make a run. I'm out.
Get some peanut butter whiskey
Don't
With
get
that
peanut
vanilla?
butter whiskey.
with the vanilla, and a
Don't
little bit.
do it.
What?
Do I still have that? No, I gave my peanut butter whiskey to someone else.
Eric, what are you
Don't
drinking?
get it.
Eric, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the Terry Bradshaw again this week. I haven't had it for a while, but I see my bottles and I see some of them starting to get low, and I think, well, I'm going to switch to something else because I don't want to run it dry. So here soon, I'm just going to have a bunch of bottles with too much in them. So, but this week it's that Bradshaw. It's a good bourbon. Pretty, I would say hot, but we had confusion last time. It's high alcohol content. It would run a race car. So
She's a real TB,
the real TB.
not like that other TB, that sucker.
Tom Brady?
Yeah, that guy's a loser
No, this is Terry Bradshaw,
Yeah, I
greatest
know.
quarterback of all time.
of all time.
Richard?
Cheers to that.
What about you, Rich?
Well, I have been drinking these Samuel Adams summer ales, and it was actually a sampler So I just opened this one, but had the tropical wheat ale and beach session IP there as well. So just trying to get some summery beers and try them out. You know, it's one of those things you go in there and you're looking at all the lame ones, and it's like, well, that's a Sam Adams. So
I would
surely
like to
good.
know that it was like a high of 60 degrees today, and he's drinking summer ale.
He's trying to
It's time.
beckon the summer in. Come
I am.
Oh, is
hither.
that what it is?
Come hither,
Well,
summer.
It's gonna happen.
Come to Butthead.
So I gotta
So-
interrupt here because I know we asked for comments, or questions to be answered.
Yeah.
and One of the questions that somebody, I don't know who asked, but was the name of Curtis's ghost
Yeah, I saw that.
that
I
he
can't
has
remember who asked
that
that.
appears periodically. And I just saw something come in as a response to that from his better half saying that we don't believe in ghosts.
Oh,
Interesting.
So
Curtis.
So I was wondering, is the ghost real or not?
I'm almost wondering if that ghost is just hocus pocus. I don't know.
You guys have seen it with your own eyes. What are you to say? You know,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we do have it caught on tape. So
We haven't caught it on tape, but the
Yeah.
person who lives with him is calling BS on it. So I don't know who to believe.
So Jeff, how would you normally open your beer?
what does that have to do with ghosts?
He's setting you up, Jeff.
How do I open my beer?
Like, how do you? open your beer?
God, I'm not drinking beer tonight, man.
Hey,
Yeah, we can't forget about our girlfriend. Hey, have you named her yet? That's
No.
your homework for next week. Give her a name.
I was
She's
gonna.
an
I was,
official mascot.
if anybody knows, where's the camera? There we go. If anybody knows or has seen this before, someone like her, please let me know because I think she's worth a lot of money. And so someday that's going to be my retirement fund.
Yeah, you better never sell that. She's the 5th member of the band now.
Yeah, it's old. It
Whatever
has
her
to
name
be old.
is. So, what nobody's asked me is how did I open my beer?
He used my bottle opener.
Butt cheeks.
He did not use his butt cheek.
I used Eric's butt
He
cheeks.
used my butt cheeks.
Open beer, and I didn't even have to do anything. I just poked it there, and the butt cheeks just kind of bloop, just did it.
That is true.
Rewind the video, you'll
Rewind-
see.
Yeah, play it back.
Wait, is that more?
Oh,
is that more airdropping I hear, or what is that?
No, that wasn't the airdrop. I don't know what he's up to.
that's probably ISR hitting me up wanting to know if I'm going to come on for the last show. That's probably what that's about.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
so-
yeah.
So we'll get there. Let's wrap it up real quick. There's one more thing I wanted. I heard this the other day, and it's a real think piece. It's a profound question, and we'll go through this real quick, and then we'll call it a night. But what do you think there's more of in the world? Are there more doors, or are there more wheels?
Wheels?
Wheels. Round wheels go round and round. Are there more
Wheels.
wheels or doors on planet Earth?
Wheels.
Wheels.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because how many doors do you have in your house? Include your cabinet doors, your medicine cabinet door, your
Yeah, but
think of
how
hotels.
many gears? How many gears? How many?
How many doors are in an apartment building? Or, hotel.
How many vehicles will Ford produce this year alone? And Chevy and Honda and Toyota and Volkswagen and Porsche.
Well, sure.
and
What about kids' wagons?
last year? How
Kids'
many
wagons.
before
I
that?
mean,
How many they produced before that? How many year before that? How many the year before that?
But how many doors are on each one of those? Yes, those vehicles have several wheels, but they also have several doors.
An 18-wheeler's got two.
No, not if you count doors in the engine compartment, like your door over your fuse box, those
you're-
kinds of things.
you're
Hey,
reading.
anything labeled a door, anything
You're
labeled a
reading.
door.
You're reading.
door.
It
Yeah,
could be
what about-
it could be a doorway to a cave. It could be
what about forklifts? They don't have any doors. What about little kids' wagons? They have 4 wheels and no doors.
well, what about hotels? They don't have wheels. They have a lot of doors and no wheels.
Yeah, they do outside.
What about
Those are
campers?
vehicles.
Mhm.
I'm just think about it. Don't just dismiss it. If you really start to think about it, this is a very tough one.
Nope.
So what are you
You
saying?
can't just
Ed?
say nope.
No.
All right, everybody out there, comment on this. I'm curious what your thoughts are. What do you think
Doors
there
or
are? More
wheels?
doors or more wheels in the world? Let's hear it. Are they? Did you check for comments? Oh, we haven't posted this yet.
So the
All
first,
right, everybody.
yeah, the first person that comments on their opinion and gives a justifiable reason why they've made that opinion, that comes to our next show, gets a free
It
shirt.
says Spumoni.
Spumoni.
Tony gets a free shirt.
No, you got to come up with a new word.
Hey, when is the next show? That would be May 21st.
May 21st. Happy Bassett.
Happy Bassett
Happy
Topeka.
Topeka.
So we've got go on our website, buy a shirt,
Yeah.
go subscribe to our YouTube channel, go like us on all the different social medias, comment on this, comment on anything you see that's attached to us, and have yourselves a great week.
Soon to come to merchandise, Curtis's Ghost.
Curtis's Ghost for sale. And if the money's right, Jeff's bottle opener.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, have a good
Peace
week.
out.